welcome. It's good to have you here with us at Somaliland National Television. I'm Waris Mohammed and you're watching the English news program. Now these are the stories making headlines. Ministry of Aviation and Air Transport holds meetings with major airlines. Vazongo organization hosts consultative gathering on equal opportunities for minorities. US cancels major military exercise with Egypt. The Ministry of Aviation and Air Transport Mahmoud Hashi Abdi held a high-level meeting with major airlines working in Somaliland. This comes just days after the reopening ceremony of Igal International Airport.
Minister Mahmoud Hashi Abdi expressed optimism towards the cooperative relationship between the ministry and respective airlines. He was keen on mentioning the overall work completed at Igal International Airport, as well as Berbera and other airports throughout the nation. It is essential, now that we have airports that are fully functional and of international compliance standards, to work even harder at promoting more tourism and general flights to Somaliland, said the Minister of Aviation and Air Transport. Airline executives as well as general managers were present at the meeting. They collectively agreed on prompting further productivity and increase cooperation with the Ministry of Aviation and Air Transport on developmental initiatives.
Vazongo, a local organization focusing on improving the living standards of minorities in Somaliland, hosted a consultative gathering earlier. Attendees of the gathering included top government officials as well as opposition political party members.
Vice Minister of Labour and Social Affairs Shukri Harir stated that it is essential that minorities take their inclusive role in the nation's political spectrum. The Vice Minister also urged other organizations to follow the example of Vazongo and dedicate additional focus on minority-related issues. Chairman of opposition political party Faisal Al-Warabe elaborated on his political party's commitment to making sure that minorities are given their share of Somaliland's political spectrum. He pointed out that UID has and will continue to be a key partner of such efforts. Director General of Post and Telecommunication Faisal Ali Sheikh also provided brief remarks at the event. He pledged on behalf of Somaliland's government to amplify, support and improve work being done for minorities. Other speakers at the event included representatives of Vazongo.
You're still tuned into the English news program on Somaliland National Television, and now for the international headlines in detail. Al-Qaeda is planning attacks on Europe's high-speed rail network, according to German tabloid Bild. Citing intelligence sources, the report says the terrorist group could plant bombs on trains or in tunnels and destroy tracks and electrical cabling.
Bild claims the information came from the National Security Agency in the United States, which had listened to a phone call earlier this month between the Al-Qaeda leader Ayman al-Zawahiri and operatives from the group's network. The same call led to the closure of the United States embassies and several of its allies in a number of countries across the Middle East, Africa and Asia. According to Bild, German police have stepped up security measures across the extensive rail network with plainclothed officers.
An uneasy calm pervades the conflict-scared Cairo streets 24 hours after 36 members of the Muslim Brotherhood died in police custody. Authorities claim the Brotherhood members died during an attempted prison break, while Islamists accuse the authorities of murder.
The violent chaos and instability shows no sign of ending. According to Fuad Farag, a resident of the city, Egypt is becoming more and more polarized. My view on what's happening in Egypt is confusion. No one is listening. No one cares what the other side is saying. No one is listening to any other opinions. No one has a complete solution. The solution when everyone listens to each other and takes other opinions on board. In his first televised comments since the death of hundreds of people following an army clear out of two camps loyal to deposed President Mohamed Morsi, General Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, said he could not stand by silently watching the destruction of the country. In a slight change in tone, he said, "There is room for everyone in Egypt." The statement comes after the deaths of at least 850 people since the last Wednesday's, the worst chapter of violence to hit Egypt in modern history.
The US has cancelled the biennial military exercise with Egypt after the Egyptian government's deadly crackdown on protesters in Cairo this week.
In a statement on Thursday, US President Barack Obama said Washington strongly condemned the crackdown on supporters of deposed President Mohamed Morsi. Egyptian security forces violently ended their 6-week-old sit-ins on Wednesday, and more than 500 people were killed in the clearing and subsequent clashes across the country. Obama announced cancellation of the Bright Star exercises, which typically involve several other European and Arab allies.
While we want to sustain our relationship with Egypt, our traditional cooperation cannot continue as usual when civilians are being killed in the streets and rights are being rolled back.
Reporters in Washington, D.C. noted that Obama did not mention any change to the $1.3 billion annual U.S. military aid package to Egypt. Obama strongly condemned the steps that have been taken by Egypt's interim government and security forces in his vacation home on the Massachusetts island of Martha's Vineyard.
While Mohamed Morsi was elected president in a democratic election, his government was not inclusive and did not respect the views of all Egyptians. We know that many Egyptians, millions of Egyptians, perhaps even a majority of Egyptians, were calling for a change in course. And while we do not believe that force is the way to resolve political differences, after the military's intervention several weeks ago, there remained a chance for reconciliation and an opportunity to pursue a democratic path.
In the past debates, members of the U.S. Senate conveyed their satisfaction for continuing the annual U.S. funds to the Egyptian military, indicating Egypt as a key U.S. ally in the Middle East.
If you have any feelings at all for our good friends, our best friends in the Middle East, that's Israel, then you can't consider this amendment.
Making such a significant change to U.S. foreign policy, with all the potential implications for U.S. national security and for our ally Israel, should not be done in haste.
The US, along with the EU, had tried to negotiate a peaceful resolution to Egypt's worsening political crisis. William Burns, the Deputy Secretary of State, traveled to Cairo earlier this month and met both the army-backed interim government and senior officials from the Muslim Brotherhood. Bernardo Leon, the EU envoy, told voters on Thursday that we had a political plan that was on the table that had been accepted by the Muslim Brotherhood.
That's the end of our news. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow at the same time and take care.